Okay, so exam time is breathing down your neck, and you need to absolutely nail supply chain management. Don't worry, forget the textbook, forget the all-nighters. In the next few minutes, we're going to power through every single thing you need to know to ace this test. Let's do this.
You know that feeling when you click buy and, like magic, a package shows up the next day? Well, it's not magic, it's supply chain management. It's this incredibly complex, perfectly timed dance of people, data, and trucks that we're going to break down right now. This is the invisible engine of our world, and understanding it, that's your ticket to a great grade. All right, first things first, we have to speak the language. These definitions are the absolute bedrock of this entire course, and you can bet good money they are going to be on your exam. So let's make sure we have them locked down cold. So, what is a supply chain? It's not just one company, right? It's this whole network. I want you to picture the entire journey of, say, a t-shirt. It starts with the farmer growing the cotton, then the factory spinning the thread, then another factory sewing the shirt, then the ship that brings it over, the truck that delivers it to the store, all the way until it gets to you. That whole system of systems, that's the supply chain. And that's where supply chain management comes in. See, the key word here is management. SCM isn't just about things moving around randomly, it's about actively designing and running that entire network to make it faster, cheaper, and just better. The most important thing to remember, you're managing the whole system, not just your little piece of it. Okay, pen and paper ready, because this is a classic exam question. They sound kind of similar, supply chain, value chain, but they are looking at the business from two totally different angles. One is about the how, and the other is about the why. Let's get into it. So think of it like this. The supply chain is the how. It's the nuts and bolts, the physical stuff, the trucks, the warehouses, the inventory. It is pure execution, getting things from A to B. The value chain, on the other hand, is the why. It's the strategic thinking that happens before all that. It's asking, what can we do at every single step of this process to make the customer feel like they're getting more value? Look, if you're short on time and can only memorize one thing on this topic, make it this sentence right here. The value chain identifies what adds value. The supply chain implements it. Simple. One dreams it up, the other makes it happen. And you literally can't talk about value chains without talking about the legend himself, Michael Porter. His model from back in 1985 is still the foundational framework that companies use to map out exactly where and how they create value. It's a huge exam topic. Porter breaks it all down into 5 primary activities. First up, inbound logistics. That's just getting all your stuff, your raw materials, in the door. Second, operations. That's turning that stuff into your actual product. Third, outbound logistics. That's getting the finished product out to your customers. Fourth, you've got marketing and sales, convincing people to actually buy it. And finally, number 5, service. All the support you give them after the sale. Every single step is a chance to add more value. This leads us to the fundamental choice, the big fork in the road for every single company designing a supply chain. Do you want to be lean and mean, focused on the lowest possible cost, or do you want to be fast and flexible, able to turn on a dime? This is the core strategic trade-off. An efficient supply chain is all about cost. It's perfect for products with super predictable demand, like, say, canned soup. You know exactly how much you're going to sell. But a responsive chain is built for speed. Think fast fashion, where a new trend can explode overnight. You can't usually be the cheapest and the fastest, so you have to pick a lane. Okay, pause and take a screenshot of this one. Seriously, this slide is pure exam cram gold. It lays out the main supply chain models nice and neat. On the left, you've got your efficient models, like continuous flow for those high-volume, super stable products. And on the right, you've got your responsive models, like agile, which is designed to react super quickly to whatever the market throws at you. You need to know this table. So how do you actually build an efficient or responsive chain? Well, you do it by tuning 6 key drivers. I want you to think of these as the control levers for the entire supply chain engine. And here's the catch, and it's a big one. These drivers are not independent. They're all tangled together. You can't just crank one of them up to 11 without affecting all the others. For instance, if you want really fast transportation, guess what? Your costs are going to go way up. It's a constant, delicate balancing act. So here they are, the big 6. They break into 2 groups. First, you've got the logistical drivers, the physical stuff. Facilities, that's the where, your factories and warehouses. Inventory, that's the what, all your products. And transportation, the how it moves.
Then you have the cross-functional drivers, kind of the brains of the operation. Sourcing, the who, your partners. Pricing, how much you charge. And finally, information, the knowledge that connects everything. Master these 6. Let's make this real. Take facilities. This is just your where, the physical locations in your network. The more warehouses you have right next to your customers, the more responsive you can be, right? But it's also way more expensive. Fewer centralized facilities, that's more efficient, but slower. It's the perfect example of that trade-off in action. Okay, so you've designed this amazing supply chain. You've picked your strategy, but is it any good? How do you know if it's actually working? You measure it. That's where key performance indicators, or KPIs, come in. They're like the vital signs of your supply chain's health. You can't manage what you don't measure. And here's a pro tip, this is so important. Just tracking numbers for the sake of tracking numbers is totally useless. A good KPI has to be tied directly to a strategic goal. It has to tell you if you're getting closer to being cheaper or faster or whatever it is you're trying to achieve. Now, if there is one KPI you absolutely must know for your exam, it's this one. DOTIF. Sometimes you'll just see OTIF. It stands for Delivered on Time in Full. It's the ultimate measure of your promise to the customer. Did they get exactly what they ordered, exactly when you said they'd get it, with nothing missing and nothing broken? So you see a score like 97% DOTIF and you think, hey, that's an A. That's pretty great. But hold on. What that really means is that for every 100 customers, 3 of them had a problem. Now, if you're shipping millions of orders, that's suddenly a whole lot of unhappy customers. This is why that race to 100% is so relentless. And if DOTI is the silver medal, then the perfect order rate, well, that's the gold. This is the holy grail of supply chain metrics. It tracks an order through the entire process, from the second it's placed all the way to the final invoice being correct with 0 mistakes at any point. It is incredibly hard to do, but it is the true standard of excellence. Phew, okay, we have flown through a ton of material. But that was the whole point, right? A rapid-fire cram session. So let's bring it all home and lock in the absolute must-know concepts you can take with you into that exam.
Here it is, your final checklist. Number 1, can you explain the difference between supply chain as execution and value chain as strategy? Number 2, can you list Porter's 5 primary activities from memory? 3, can you compare and contrast efficiency and responsiveness? 4, name the 6 supply chain drivers. And 5, define DOTIF and the perfect order rate. Master these 5 points, and you are going to walk into that exam with total confidence.
So, I'll leave you with a final thought to chew on. Think about a beast of a company like Amazon. Of those 6 drivers we just talked about, which one do you think is their secret weapon, their absolute cornerstone? Now, they're masters of all of them, for sure, but a lot of people would argue it's their obsession with information and their massive network of facilities that truly sets them apart. Think about that. Good luck on your exam. You've got this.